Playing to go far, place well, yeah, maybe win, is wildly different than playing for first. And that is why first place is exponentially harder than placing second. Let me break it down further. This was a game in the FNCS Skin Cup where me and my duo were playing for first place. We weren't sure when we wanted to take high ground, so we were staying in our boxes until the perfect opportunity presented itself. And again, we were playing for first, not just to do well, so we needed height for this. That's when we found our time. In the next zone, there was a solid mid-ground infrastructure built up, but no one on height. Even better, there was a nice clock tower church thingy to grapple off to propel me straight to height. And just like that, we claimed high ground. We built higher and secured ourselves up. The difference between playing to do well and playing for number one is to make the statistically best choices to guarantee a win. And even though it can sometimes be hard to claim height, it's the best option and the most people statistically win from up there. Lucky for us, we didn't have to do any chopping or have people contest us, which is a testament to our luck, but also our ability to recognize the correct opportunity and grasp it, not just let it slip. Yo, his palms. Although one person did kind of try and contest us, but it wasn't much of a fight. And this is why height is such an advantage. You have a line of sight onto everyone. You don't even need to hit shots, just knock them out and you get kills. But since their loot does fall all the way to the ground, you usually can't go for it. Another reason why playing for first is so hard, since you need enough mats to play height without refreshes. And we also hit a horrible zone pull at the end, so we had to keep building. We couldn't go back over our old ones.
What the f is that song?
It was coming down to the wire, and we weren't sure if heal off was going to play. We wanted the best statistical chance to win, and both of us staying up wasn't it. Someone had to drop down and fight, and we needed to make a decision. If one goes down and clears the lobby or injures the opponent significantly, the other's heal off chances skyrocket. Since I had the most mats, I stayed on high ground. My duo Mango dropped down and went to work.
Did you just kill someone? 59 crack.
And I stayed up on height, so our odds were split.
28. Dead. 21. 20. 1 P.
Nice, let's f***ing go.
And that is an example of us playing for the win. Second place was stuck down there covering their angles from every side, covering their heads, fighting Mango, burning through mats, fighting the other team. In that whole instance, they didn't even have a chance to look up and shoot me out. Even if Mango went down, our odds still looked pretty good. And that's the difference. They played to place well, and they did, but they didn't even realistically come close to getting up to that first place. I still had a buttload of mats, hard mats too, and really good health and loot. They were just playing for shambles and did good with what they had. Now let me show you a game where we placed really high, but weren't necessarily playing for first, and why even though we got close, it was just unattainable, so we had to play for placement. It started with a missed opportunity to take height. My duo went up to check it out and saw people, so he said to back down.
Okay, don't go on height.
Don't go?
On height. I'm on height, I'm on height.
Oh, shit.
But as he was saying that, those people actually dropped down and it was free height. Unfortunately, during that, I had used all my grapples getting up to height, and by the time he reconfirmed, I was already falling down. It was a small miscommunication, but it meant that our window had closed. And this game would quickly turn into chasing placement rather than first place. We played together on mid-ground, going pretty far, splitting mats when I needed to, and hitting some really good front-side rotates. We then got gifted a refresh and had the chance to go pretty far, but my duo went down and I got hit hard by height. Just another testament to how strong high ground is in these lobbies. At this point, I'm playing time in my medkits.
Let's play my kit.
Top 10. I dropped down to low ground, which isn't a terrible place to be for placement, but I got too greedy. I wanted to play for first when I knew it wasn't attainable. I had low mats, only wood, was on low ground, and didn't even have a chance to look up to shoot hideout, but I still kept pushing forward in safe zone instead of playing my medkits in zone to lock up some further placement.
Play medkit here. Right now, trust me. Go in zone and play medkit.
My duo actually told me to play medkits, and if I had done that a couple seconds earlier, we would have placed higher. I just wasn't sure if his call out meant to go into storm and play it, or creep through safe zone, and since someone had just died right next to me, I waited a bit too long. Although we did do okay, but this was clearly a game where we weren't playing for first, and that's why it's so exponentially harder to achieve. So we've talked about ideal situations to play for first, you know, claiming height, etc., and unideal situations where placement seems like your best bet. But is it possible for the latter to actually become a win? That's what this next game is about. It's the most educational, textbook, crazy, badass game I can show you. But before I do, let me ask for a sweet, tender like from you and possibly an investment into the future of this channel if you like my content. I'm only at 11k, but here we go. In this game, we had just killed someone in Storm, and we're looking for his partner on the exterior of Safe Zone. Mango, my duo, pushed a little further ahead of me, and we got surprised by a different duo that had the same skin. So now we were split, and he just got straight up one-pumped, so I backed off a little bit. So already, this game is shambles, and it's not even endgame. I waited around for a little longer and ran back into Zone to get his card and then rebooted in Storm, making sure to buy medkits with my gold. I got him back up and we went to Island to loot and then to Zone and healed. As shambles as the game was when it started, it kind of came around, but our meds and mats weren't there. We were actually able to play Edge Zone pretty efficiently, and that's when we got a kill on this team that was towered up. We pushed up, I grappled, and then Mango got the finish and we got him some more loot. And that's when we were ready to take height.
So we gotta take height here. We can take height here.
We identified this as our opportunity and we weren't gonna let that window close again. Unfortunately, height literally dropped straight onto him, which I never see, literally giving it up for a kill. But I guess it did work out for him and he got a refresh, so maybe it was calculated. I just never see people purposely drop off height. Either way, that window closed again for us. But the game isn't over. Mango told me he had flops on his body, and that was a call out that makes this game. I was able to rotate into Zone and claim second height, but true high ground was already sky basing. So if you're always thinking about playing for first, then sometimes you'll actually notice opportunities like this. High ground was sky basing in wood. I was able to recognize that and shoot him out, and this game quickly turned into anyone's game. And after VOD reviewing this, I will recognize that after shooting them out, I should have immediately taken high ground firmly because they just grappled onto my structure and built on top of me. But either way, it was better than a sky base being locked in the sky. Afterwards, I hit a couple nice rotations and I still had hard mats to protect me, so I didn't get lobby focused as a solo. I then rotated again to front side, but someone got my wall before I could build there. With my heart pounding, I was able to edit out the side as he slid a cone into my box, and I went up a layer. That was the closest my game had got to ending. If I scuffed that edit one more time, it was over. Mango with the clutch callouts told me about my options and I listened.
Just play till the end. You have so many more mats. Tarp the whole thing.
I kept going, and that's when I heard height slide down.
It's one duo, I don't even think there's a duo. Is there a duo?
I was confused, but I mantled up and it was mine. This is where games are won. Instead of sky basing with the 100 mats that I had, I dropped to the hard brick and looked down. He tried to shoot me down and I was ready to play heal off with my floppers, but it didn't matter. He died to Storm and I won. So yes, you can win from shamble games, but you'll always need to be thinking about playing for first so you can recognize the opportunities given to you. This was the first tournament I played after finally figuring out how to play competitive right, and I won 2 games. And what that means is there was something about comp that finally clicked in my head and it made me win these games. So if you're curious about having something click for you, activate another neural path or something in your brain, I explain that process and what happened to me in this video right here, because it does break down the game that made it click for me. Use code reidtheninja in the item shop and make sure to refresh it every 2 weeks to support my crippling V-Buck addiction. And on that note, I'm signing off.